Do you want to know what the value of a podcast is after doing a show every day for the last 6 weeks? I'm going to share that with you and so much more on this edition of the Inside BS Show. Hey now, I'm Dave Lorenzo. I'm the godfather of growth, and today's show is part 2 of the value of a podcast. We did part 1 6 weeks ago, and I'm putting a link down in the show notes to part 1 of this show. You are going to love this update, this part 2 update. My intention is to do one of these every month that we're doing live consecutive shows, and the reason is to tell you what I've learned from doing daily podcast shows. So let's go right to the first 7 things that I've learned in the last 6 weeks. Takeaway number 1, I have gotten a lot better at first take recordings of these shows. During the first set of shows, even though I've done over 700 of these, I was rusty. And I would include a lot of filler words. I would include a lot of pauses that were ill-timed. I would say things that were redundant or kind of doublespeak. I've eliminated that. So the editing process is much more fluid. It's much easier, and I'm doing more first take shows. In other words, I record it, and it's done. The editing is already done. I don't need to spend a lot of time editing. It's helped me improve my clarity of thought. It's helped me be more in the moment when I'm doing these shows, and that makes for a better podcast for you. So that's takeaway number 1. Takeaway number 2 is the topic selection has gotten better in the last 3 or 4 weeks because I've learned from the first 3 weeks of shows. I've gone behind the scenes and looked at the data, and granted, it's not voluminous data, but it is valuable to see which topics resonate with the audience. And I've got a good handle for what people like, what you like, and I think I'm in good shape for the next 6 weeks of content that I'm going to create. As I continue to build upon this foundation, I'll refine those topics even more, but I've been grateful to see that there is a reaction to some of the stuff, and it's highly positive, and then there's a reaction to some of the other stuff, and it's not as exuberant as I would have expected. So now I know how to refine the topics. Takeaway number 3. The value of the live content that I posted is way greater than I ever imagined. When I first started posting some of the live content, I posted snippets of lead generation talks that I've done. I posted some snippets of behind the scenes stuff. I posted some segments from work that I've done with clients. I posted a live speech from Nikki G. I posted live speeches from me. By far, the reaction to those live events has been overwhelmingly positive. The feedback that I'm getting is related to the content, and it's very specific and focused, which tells me that it is informing buying decisions, which is great. I am thrilled with that. So the live content is really good. We're going to continue to post those live events. Number 4 is the acceleration of relationship development with the people who are listeners of the show. People who come to our events who've listened to 2 or 3 shows feel like they already know us. They feel like they have a relationship with us. They feel like they have a connection to us. And that's fantastic because those relationships, those connections lead to work for us down the road. It leads to referrals. It leads to direct client work as well. Number 5, the perception of my discipline. I record these shows first thing in the morning every day, and we release the shows at 6 a.m. every day. And people who tune in probably listen to them 3 or 4 times a week, maybe once or twice a week. They batch listen to them, but they hear me creating all of this content, and they think to themselves that I am an incredibly disciplined person. And this is valuable to me because if I'm perceived as somebody who has incredible discipline, that is a valuable tool for somebody who works with business owners to help them improve their discipline. The reality is I've developed a habit where I record at least one of these shows, sometimes two of these shows every day. And I bring my recording equipment with me on the road. I take it with me if I'm going to be out of the office all day. And I find a place to record a show that I've outlined well in advance. So I do have discipline, but it's the discipline that comes from habits that I've developed over the last 6 weeks. Recording the show is now exactly like brushing my teeth. I get up in the morning, I brush my teeth, I record a show. I go to bed at night, and usually before I go to bed at night, I outline the show, and then I brush my teeth before I go to bed at night. That is the same as doing anything else. If you want to create discipline in your life, just make it a habit and it becomes discipline. And the perception of people of my discipline has been fantastic. Number 6 is the reinforcement of things I discuss with my clients. There are topics that I've recorded here that I discuss with my clients ad nauseum. I will work with my clients and talk to them about certain things over and over and over again. I repeat these things to them multiple times. And that tells me that that's a topic that needs to be reinforced in a podcast. So I record a podcast on that topic, and the bulk of the people who are listening to this show now are clients of mine, referral sources of mine, or people who've been connected to me through clients or referral sources. So they've heard some of these things before, and the podcast serves as reinforcement for them. And that's a really good thing. When people leave my master's program events and they listen to all of these podcast shows and they come back to the master's event and they say, I was going to not follow up immediately after an event with a client, and then I heard your show on follow-up and I decided, I need to do this. I need to follow up immediately. That makes me feel good because the show is reinforcing what I'm teaching my clients. And then number 7 is the thing that I was counting on from the beginning, but it hit me in the face when we did it, and that's the deeper relationships that Nikki G and I develop with clients or with prospects or with people we just met who we interview on the show. When we interview someone on the show and we have a good time speaking to them, there's always this feeling of goodwill that everyone leaves with. Then, if we're very efficient in the way we edit the show, we will edit it and turn it around within 4 weeks, and we send that version of the show, the edited version of the show, to the client so they can use it however they want. It develops a tremendous amount of goodwill, and the clients will listen to the show over and over again, and they relive that experience they had with us in recording the show and feeling good. And this reinforces that we're the kind of people they want to hang around with, we're the kind of people they want to work with. There's a huge amount of value in this. And I will say this, we record these shows both in person and remote, and I want to see if in-person recording accelerates the relationships compared to remote recording. That's one of the things I want to explore in the next 6 weeks. So as we continue down this road of daily shows, a couple of things I want to do. I would love to do a few live shows with Nikki G where we live stream the show on video as well as do audio. I would also love to do on the scene live shows. So go to conventions, go to events, and get Nikki G out there with me and have Nikki G and I report out from the event, do a longer form show from a live event where we bring on multiple guests. That would be great. And also refine some of these topics and do more of these quick hit 10-minute, no more than 11 or 12-minute shows that are, I call them snack size shows that you can listen to over and over again to reinforce a few key points. And to that end, we're going to place the link in this show's show notes to the last podcast show. And that's the other thing we want to really start doing in the next 6 weeks. I'm going to reference past shows, do quote-unquote callbacks to past shows, and put the links to those past shows in the show notes in the hopes that you will go back and listen to some of the great shows that we've done in the past multiple times. Or if you're brand new to the show, I can draw your attention to shows that we've done in the past. So to that end, The title of the first show that I did on this was The Value of a Podcast, Part 1. It was show number 687. So show number 687 is the first version of this that we did. This update is show number 721. So the value of a podcast, part 1, was show 687. This is the value of a podcast, and it's show number 721. So go back to 687 and listen to how far we've come in the last 6 weeks. This is show 721. I will speak with you on this topic in a month from now or 6 weeks from now, depending on where it fits in to the show schedule. And I'll update you on how we're doing using the podcast in our business. And my hope is that you can take this show and all the previous shows on podcasting that I've done and leverage them to use podcasting in your business. It's a form of media that I really believe in. And if you want help with this, reach out to me, reach out to Nikki G. We can help you leverage podcasting in your business. We're such big believers in it. We would love to do this for you as well. All right, that'll do it for this edition of the Inside BS Show. I am Dave Lorenzo. I'm the Godfather of Growth. We will be back here tomorrow at 6 a.m. for another show. Until then, here's hoping you make a great living and live a great life. Thanks for listening to this edition of the Inside BS Show. My name is Dave Lorenzo. If you'd like to apply to be a part of our community, please join us by completing your application directly with me on the phone. You can call me at 786-436-1986, 786-436-1986. I can't wait to speak with you. Join us by calling me today.